Okay, the properly final last rant of this goddamn day of rants is at the request of Deathless Rith saying rant about Lil Ugly Mane. Gladly. Lil Ugly Mane is one of my favorite rappers slash producers. Big influence. Um, guy who I've rapped over a lot of his instrumentals in the last year or so. So Lil Ugly Mane, I found out about him through just being talked about in hip hop circles and stuff, and being reviewed by the Needle Drop at some point. But I hadn't really taken an interest in his music until the third side of Tape came out, and Fantano had really loved it, and I listened to it, and I thought it was fucking crazy because the guy has experimented in so many different musical styles over the years. He's so eclectic and lo-fi, and has just like played around with a lot of different sounds in a way that reminded me of myself, because I've played around with a lot of the same styles that he has, and like tried to create these kinds of sounds, and like it was clear that we had similar tastes in general. And he's also from Richmond, or I don't even know if he's from there, but he's always, his Bandcamp always lists him as being from Richmond, so not that far away from me. Back when I was in Virginia Beach, so like I just vibed with his sound really hardcore, and but I didn't end up going back and exploring his other music until later. So then when he put out the Oblivion Access, I love that album. I think it's difficult to listen to like with any kind of regularity, but it's super interesting. Again, the aesthetic resonates with me really hard. I love songs like Opposite Lanes and what's the Collapse and Appear, and the one that comes after that, Leonard's Lake. The last song on the album is also great. There's just a bunch of like highlights, and also just generally the tone is so dark and sewery and grotesque. I think it's a fucking great. I think it's a great album, even if I don't listen to it all the time, because frankly, it's not a listen to all the time type of album. And then at some point, I found out. I think my friend Munchie, because he was talking about Mr. Thug Isolation and how he loved it. I was like, really? I'm gonna go back and listen to that, because I think I probably heard it once or twice, and then I just got into that, and then not long afterwards found out about 666 Mafia, and then I went down this whole rabbit hole, because related to Lil Ugly Mane is Denzel Curry, and I had always been a fan of the song Threats since that came out, and like some other tracks from Nostalgic 64. I liked a few songs off of Imperial, so I've been like kind of into Denzel Curry. But like as I noticed the connection between the two of those artists, that drew me in even more. Like listening to the 13 EP with Lil Ugly Mane, and then hearing Denzel on Twisted, and just like being really into those albums, especially when I started smoking pot. Like, it was. I got really into Lil Ugly Mane. Then I found out about the fact that he had so much shit. Like, not only does he have a ton of shit on Bandcamp, but he has like all these weird stuff that he put out under other names. He's been around for like a super long time, making really cool instrumentals. I like the sound of all of his shit. So like, I'll just throw on some random Ugly Mane projects or something, and his stuff that was released under his name Sean Kemp, where I rapped over several of his beats on the Fuck Off mixtape, and then like also a guy named Lil Fuckass, who made me an Ugly Mane style beat, which I rap over on the first track on Fuck Off mixtape. I also make a ton of references to Lil Ugly Mane in the lyrics on my albums from 2018 in particular, because that was when I started like really being a big, like, I've been like following him for a few years now, but like I really became like a hardcore fan of the whole like Lil Ugly Mane and 666 sound, and like Denzel and all the revival of that sound more recently. So like, yeah, I'm big into the Memphis revival sound. I think Lil Ugly Mane does it the best. I mean, like if I had to pick between the 666 Underground Tapes Volume 1 and Mr. Thug Isolation, like I would have to pick Mr. Thug ultimately, even though like my one problem with the album is that it is like so loudly fucking mixed and abrasive that like, it's like an album that is meant for easy listening that's somehow not easy to listen to all the way through. But it's fucking lit, and just the fact that it has less of the repetition and like longer songs of Underground Tape, Underground Volume 1 or whatever, I would say I like it a little bit more. But yeah, it's like it's sort of the apex of that genre, while being, tongue in cheek and obviously like looking at it from afar, but then like seeing what you can do to modernize it and like bring it into a different time and place. And I'm always a fan of that kind of shit, So yeah, it was neat, and I would fucking kill to get to rap over one of his beats or rap with him in something, because that would be fucking mega dank. But I don't know anything about him. So, yeah, I guess that's as much as I can rant about Lil Ugly Mane, and that should be the last of these goddamn rants. See you in the next one.